Ambassador Veltar stared at the screen in his office. The same message appeared again, just like it had for the past 300 years. The words never changed. Thank you for your interest. Earth declines participation at this time. He threw his coffee cup across the room. It shattered against the metal wall of his ship. 300 years. 3 centuries of sending polite invitations to the small blue planet in the Sol system. Every single time the humans sent back the same boring response. Sir, are you okay? His assistant peeked through the door. The young alien looked worried. I'm fine, Veltar lied. He wasn't fine. As the main ambassador for the Galactic Council, it was his job to bring new species into their peaceful group. Earth was his biggest failure. The Galactic Council was huge. It had 847 different alien species from across the galaxy. They all worked together to keep peace, share technology, and help each other. Every species wanted to join, except for the humans. Captain Nix walked into the office without knocking. The big alien always did that. It made Veltar angry, but Nix was important in the Traders Guild. Still crying about the humans? Nix laughed. His voice was deep and rough. Just forget about them. They're probably too busy killing each other to care about space politics. That's not the point, Veltar said. We've detected their radio signals. They have technology. They have cities. But they won't talk to us properly. Maybe they're scared, Nix said. He sat down in a chair that was too small for his large body. Think about it. They've never left their solar system. We show up with big spaceships and they probably think we want to invade them. Veltar had thought about this before. But our messages are friendly. We tell them we want peace. We offer to share knowledge and technology. What more can we do? Nothing, Nix said. Some species just aren't ready for the big galaxy. Maybe in another 1,000 years they'll change their minds. What neither Veltar nor Nix knew was that human eyes were watching them right now. Deep in space, hidden inside what looked like a broken asteroid, sat a monitoring station. The station was so well hidden that even the Council's best sensors couldn't find it. Inside the station, Admiral Kim Day watched the alien ship through powerful cameras. He had been listening to their conversation through devices his people had secretly placed on their ship months ago. They still think we're primitive, he said to his second officer. Good, replied General Parkhana. Let them keep thinking that. Every day they underestimate us is another day we get stronger. Kim Day smiled. The aliens had no idea what humans were really doing. While they thought Earth was full of scared primitives, humans had been busy. Very busy. For 300 years, ever since the first alien ship appeared in their solar system, humans had been watching and learning. They built secret stations throughout space. They sent tiny spy ships to follow alien vessels. They learned alien languages and studied their technology. The aliens thought humans were afraid to leave their solar system. The truth was different. Humans had left their solar system many times. They just made sure no one saw them do it. Director Li Wan sat in her command center deep under the Pacific Ocean. Screens covered every wall, showing information from across the galaxy. She knew more about alien politics than most alien politicians did. Report from Agent Cho Min, said one of her workers. The Council is planning another big meeting next month. They want to discuss the human problem again. Li Wan nodded. Cho Min was one of their best agents. For 15 years he had worked as a cleaner on the Council's main space station. The aliens saw him every day but never really looked at him. They thought he was just a simple human who cleaned their floors and emptied their trash. They were wrong. Cho Min was one of Earth's smartest spies. He had learned 12 alien languages. He could hack into their computer systems. He knew their secrets before their own governments did. What about Agent Yang Sol? Li Wan asked. Still running her trading post in the Outer Rim, came the reply. The aliens love her. They think she's just a friendly human who sells them food and supplies. Li Wan smiled. Yang Sol was another perfect spy. She had convinced the aliens that she was a simple trader who had gotten lost in space and decided to set up shop on a remote planet. The aliens felt sorry for her and told her all sorts of useful information. In reality, Yang Sol was a trained intelligence officer. Her trading post was full of hidden recording devices and secret computers. Every conversation, every piece of gossip, every rumor got sent straight back to Earth. And Chief Engineer Bei Su? Li Wan asked. The new ship designs are ready, her worker said. The test flights went perfectly. This made Li Wan very happy. Bei Su was leading the most important project in human history. While the aliens thought humans had primitive technology, Besu and her team had been reverse engineering alien devices for decades. Every time an alien ship had mechanical problems in the Sol system, humans offered to help fix it. The aliens thought this was very kind. They didn't know that humans kept copies of everything they fixed. Over the years, humans had figured out how alien faster-than-light travel worked. They learned about alien weapons, shields, and computers. Then they made better versions. The shipyards hidden throughout the Sol system were building vessels that would make alien warships look like toys. But the aliens didn't know this. They had never seen a human warship because humans were very good at keeping secrets. President Kang Ye looked out the window of her office. The city below looked normal and peaceful. Humans walked to work, children played in parks, and everything seemed ordinary. But under the surface, Earth was preparing. Every major nation worked together on the secret project. Military bases were hidden underground. Weapons factories were built inside mountains. The most advanced technology in the galaxy was being created in basements and secret labs. "Ma'am," said her assistant, "the council sent another invitation." "Send the usual reply," President Kang Ye said. "Thank you for your interest. Earth declines participation at this time." The message would be sent just like always. The aliens would be frustrated just like always. And they would continue to think humans were simple and scared, just like always. But President Kang Ye knew something the aliens didn't. The day would come when Earth would stop being silent. When that day arrived, the galaxy would learn what humans had really been doing for 300 years. The question wasn't if humans would join galactic civilization. The question was whether galactic civilization was ready for humans. Director Li Wan walked through the long corridor deep beneath the ocean floor. Her footsteps echoed in the metal hallway as she headed to the morning briefing. The Earth Defense Intelligence Center was the most secret place on the planet. Only a few hundred people knew it existed. The main control room was huge. Dozens of workers sat at computer stations, watching screens that showed information from all over the galaxy. Maps displayed the locations of alien fleets, trade routes, and important planets. Numbers showed military strengths, economic data, and political situations. "Good morning, Director," said Captain Shin Ho. He was her best intelligence officer. "We have updates from our field agents." Li Wan sat down at the main control desk. 300 years of careful planning had led to this moment. While aliens thought humans were hiding in fear, Earth had actually built the best spy network in galactic history. "Start with Agent Cho Min," she said. Captain Shin Ho pressed some buttons. A secure communication channel opened to a space station thousands of light years away. Agent Cho Min's face appeared on the screen. He looked tired but alert. "Director, I have important news," Cho Min said quietly. He was speaking from a storage closet on the alien space station where he worked. "The Council is getting worried about military buildups in several sectors." "Which sectors?" Li Wan asked. "The hegemony of Voss has been moving ships toward the core worlds," Cho Min replied. "Ambassador Veltar thinks they're planning something big." "The Council members are scared," Li Wan nodded. The hegemony was one of the most aggressive alien governments. They had been growing stronger for decades. Human intelligence had been tracking their movements closely. "What about their technology?" she asked. "I managed to get close to their new destroyer yesterday," Cho Min said. "I planted listening devices while I was cleaning their docking bay. Their weapons are more powerful than we thought, but their shield technology is still primitive compared to what we've developed." "Excellent work," Li Wan said. "Stay safe and keep watching." The communication ended. Captain Shin Ho brought up another channel. This time, Agent Yang Sol appeared on screen. She was sitting in what looked like a normal trading post, but Li Wan knew it was full of hidden spy equipment. "Hello, Director," Yang Sol said with a smile. "Business has been very good lately. My alien customers are talking a lot about politics." Yang Sol's trading post was on a remote planet in the Outer Rim. Alien merchant ships stopped there regularly to buy food, fuel, and supplies. The aliens thought she was just a lost human who had accidentally ended up in their space years ago. They felt sorry for her and treated her like a harmless friend. This was exactly what Yang Sol wanted. When people think you're harmless, they say things around you that they shouldn't say. "The Traders Guild is getting nervous," Yang Sol continued. "Captain Nix visited last week. He said the Council is asking all trading ships to report any unusual military activity." "Did he mention Earth?" Li Wan asked. "Of course," Yang Sol laughed. "He still thinks humans are too primitive to matter." He called us those scared little people who won't come out and play. Li Wan felt satisfaction at this. The longer aliens underestimated humans, the better. What else did you learn? The hegemony has been buying a lot of rare metals, Yang Sol said. The kind used to build big weapons. My sources say they've purchased enough materials to build at least 50 new battleships. 50? Captain Shinho looked worried. That's a lot of firepower. Not really, Li Wan said calmly. Show me the Beisu report. Captain Shinho switched to another screen. Chief Engineer Beisu appeared. She was standing in what looked like a normal research lab, but Li Wan knew it was actually inside a hidden military facility built into an asteroid. Director, our latest tests were successful, Beisu said proudly. The new ship designs are performing better than expected. For 30 years, Beisu had been leading Earth's secret weapons development program. Every time aliens had mechanical problems in the Sol system, humans offered to help fix them. The aliens always accepted, thinking humans were just being friendly neighbors. They were wrong. Every alien device that humans helped repair was carefully studied, copied, and improved. Human engineers had learned to build faster engines, stronger shields, and more powerful weapons than anything in the alien arsenal. How many ships do we have ready? Li Wan asked. 2,000 combat vessels are complete and ready, Beisu replied. Another 3,000 will be finished within 6 months. All of them are equipped with the new stealth technology. Li Wan smiled. The stealth technology was humanity's greatest achievement. It made human ships completely invisible to alien sensors. Aliens had no idea that human vessels had been moving freely throughout the galaxy for decades. What about the new weapons? She asked. The plasma cannons are working perfectly, Beisu said. They're 3 times more powerful than anything the hegemony has. The shield-piercing torpedoes can go through alien defenses like they're not even there. Excellent. Keep up the good work. The communication ended. Captain Shinho looked impressed but also worried. Director, are you sure we're ready for this? He asked. If the aliens discover what we've been doing, they won't, Li Wan said confidently. We've been planning this for 3 centuries. Every detail has been considered. Every possibility has been prepared for. She stood up and walked to a large window that showed the ocean floor outside. Strange fish swam past the glass, living their lives without knowing that one of the galaxy's most important military centers was hidden in their world. The aliens made one big mistake, she said. They assumed that silence means weakness. They thought that because we didn't answer their invitations, we were afraid of them. Weren't we afraid? Captain Shinho asked. Of course we were afraid, Li Wan admitted. Any smart species would be afraid when they first meet aliens with advanced technology. But fear can make you stupid or it can make you careful. We chose to be careful. She turned back to face the control room. Dozens of humans worked quietly at their stations, monitoring alien communications, tracking alien ships, and preparing for the day when Earth would finally reveal itself. While other species spent centuries fighting wars and making treaties, we spent centuries learning and preparing, she continued. We studied every alien government, every alien technology, every alien weakness. We built our strength in secret while they forgot we existed. And now? Captain Shinho asked. Now we wait for the right moment, Li Wan said. The hegemony is making their move. The council is scared and desperate. Soon they will need help badly enough to accept it from anyone, even from the humans they think are too primitive to matter. She walked back to her control desk and pressed a button. A secure line opened to the highest levels of Earth's government. President Kang Ye, she said. It's time to move to the next phase. On the screen, President Kang Ye nodded. Are our people ready? They've been ready for decades, Li Wan replied. Our agents are in position throughout the galaxy. Our ships are built and hidden. Our technology is superior to anything the aliens have. When the moment comes, we'll be ready to show the galaxy what Earth has really been doing all this time. The president smiled. Then let's watch and wait. When the galaxy needs saving, they'll learn that the humans they ignored were the ones who could save them all along. The transmission ended. Li Wan looked around the control room one more time. Everything was proceeding according to plan. Soon, very soon, the galaxy would meet the real Earth. War Master Groktal stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking out at the largest military fleet in galactic history. 5,000 warships stretched out before him in perfect formation. Each ship carried enough firepower to destroy a small planet. Sir, all fleet commanders are ready, said his lieutenant. Groktal smiled. His teeth were sharp and yellow. Begin the final phase. Send the message to the Council. Across the galaxy, alarms started ringing on the Council's main space station. Ambassador Veltar ran to the emergency meeting room where all the Council leaders were gathering. Their faces showed fear and confusion. "What's happening?" asked Council Leader Zephyra. "The hegemony fleet is moving toward our core worlds," Veltar said, his voice shaking. "They've sent us a message." The main screen lit up, showing War Master Groktal's ugly face. His voice was deep and threatening. "Council weaklings," he said. "For too long you have preached peace and cooperation. You have made the galaxy soft and weak. This ends now. The hegemony will bring order to the stars through strength and conquest. Surrender your worlds peacefully or we will take them by force." The message ended. The room fell silent for a moment. "How many ships do they have?" asked Captain Nix. "Our scouts report at least 5,000 combat vessels," Veltar replied. "Maybe more." Council Leader Zephyra looked pale. "How many ships can we gather?" "Maybe 2,000 from all member species combined," said another council member. "But most of them are exploration vessels or cargo ships. Only a few hundred are real warships. We need to contact our allies," Zephyra said. "Send emergency messages to every species in the galaxy. Ask for military support." "What about the humans?" someone asked. Captain Nix laughed bitterly. "The humans? They won't even answer our normal messages. Why would they help us fight a war?" "We have to try," Zephyra said. "Send them an emergency message. Tell them the galaxy is in danger." On Earth, President Kang Ye received the message in her office. She read it carefully, then called Director Li Wan. "The Council is asking for our help," she said. "I know," Li Wan replied. "Our agents reported that the hegemony fleet is moving. Everything is happening exactly as we predicted. Are we ready?" "We've been ready for 50 years, Li Wan said confidently. "Supreme Commander O-Rin has all our fleets positioned and waiting. Fleet Admiral Nam Jun is prepared to take command of the operation." President Kang Ye nodded. "Send the usual reply to the Council first. Let them think we're still the same scared humans they've always ignored." Fleet Admiral Nam Jun was a calm, quiet man who had spent his entire career preparing for this moment. He stood in the command center of humanity's most secret military base, watching as reports came in from across the galaxy. "The hegemony fleet is 2 days away from the Council's main worlds," said his aide. "And our ships?" Nam Jun asked. "All positioned and ready, sir. 2,000 vessels in attack formation. Another 1,000 in support positions, all equipped with full stealth systems." "Good. Send the message to the Council." On the Council space station, Ambassador Veltar desperately waited for Earth's response. When it finally came, he felt his heart sink. "Message received. Humanity declines to participate in your conflict, cowards," he shouted, throwing his communication device across the room. "The galaxy is about to be destroyed and they're still hiding behind their little star." What Veltar didn't know was that Fleet Admiral Nam Jun was watching him right now. Hidden cameras on the Council station showed him every detail of the aliens' desperate preparations. "They really think we're cowards," said Commander Park Hana, who was standing beside Nam Jun. "Let them think that for a little while longer," Nam Jun replied. "Soon they'll learn the difference between cowardice and patience." The hegemony fleet moved closer to the Council worlds. War Master Groktal was confident and happy. His scouts had confirmed that the Council could only gather about 2,000 ships to defend themselves. His 5,000 vessels would win easily. "Sir, we're detecting some unusual readings," said one of his officers. "What kind of readings?" Groktal asked. "Small energy signatures throughout the system. They appear and disappear quickly. Our sensors can't get a clear lock on them." "Probably just space debris or old satellites," Groktal said dismissively. "The Council worlds are old and full of junk. Don't worry about it." His officer looked uncertain but said nothing more. The truth was that those energy signatures were human ships moving into position. The hegemony's sensors were too primitive to detect Earth's advanced stealth technology, but they could sense tiny energy fluctuations as the human fleet prepared for battle. Supreme Commander O-Rin watched from her command ship as 3,000 human vessels surrounded the approaching hegemony fleet. The aliens had no idea they were walking into a trap. "All ships report ready," said her communications officer. "Excellent," O-Rin replied. "Wait for my signal." On the Council station, the alien leaders made their final preparations. They had managed to gather 1,800 ships from various member species. It wasn't enough, but it was all they had. At least we'll die fighting, said Council Leader Zafara. Maybe the humans will change their minds at the last moment, Ambassador Veltar said hopefully. Captain Nick shook his head. Forget about the humans. They've made it clear they don't care about the rest of the galaxy. As the hegemony fleet entered the Council system, War Master Groktal prepared to give the final attack order. His ships spread out in attack formation, ready to overwhelm the Council's weak defenses. Sir, all ships are in position, his lieutenant reported. Excellent. Begin the attack. Show these peaceful fools what real power looks like. But before the hegemony could fire their first shot, something impossible happened. Space itself seemed to ripple and shift. Thousands of new contacts appeared on every sensor screen in the system. What is that? Groktal demanded. Unknown vessels, sir. Thousands of them. They're appearing all around us. Impossible! Where did they come from? On her command ship, Supreme Commander O'Rin smiled as she watched the hegemony fleet realize they were surrounded. All ships, this is O'Rin. Decloak and prepare for battle. It's time to introduce ourselves to the galaxy. 3,000 human warships became visible all at once. They were sleek, deadly, and more advanced than anything the aliens had ever seen. The hegemony fleet found itself completely surrounded. Fleet Admiral Nam Jun opened a communication channel that reached every ship in the system. Attention hegemony forces. You are trespassing in space claimed by the Human Defense Coalition. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences. War Master Groktal stared at his screens in shock. Humans? The primitive species that won't leave their home system? Those are human ships, sir, his officer said. But they're using technology we've never seen before. Their weapon signatures are off our charts. For the first time in his military career, Groktal felt afraid. He had come here expecting to fight a small, weak council fleet. Instead, he found himself facing an unknown enemy with superior numbers and superior technology. How is this possible? He whispered. The answer would change the galaxy forever. War Master Groktal could not believe what he was seeing. His mighty fleet of 5,000 warships was completely surrounded by vessels that had appeared from nowhere. The human ships were beautiful and terrifying at the same time. They looked like metal sharks floating in the darkness of space. Sir, they're demanding we surrender, said his communications officer. Surrender? Groktal roared. We are the hegemony. We do not surrender to anyone, especially not to primitive humans. Captain Sodam commanded the lead human vessel, a massive ship that made even the largest hegemony battleship look small. She had trained for this moment her entire life. Her voice was calm and professional as she spoke into the communication system. Hegemony Fleet, this is Captain Sodam of the Human Defense Coalition. You have 30 seconds to begin withdrawing from this system. If you do not comply, we will consider you hostile and act accordingly. Groktal laughed loudly. 30 seconds? These humans are either very brave or very stupid. All ships prepare to attack. Show them what happens when someone threatens the hegemony. Sir, we're getting strange readings from their weapons, his tactical officer reported. The energy signatures don't match anything in our database. I don't care if they have magic weapons, Groktal snarled. We outnumber them 5,000 to 3,000. Attack! The hegemony fleet opened fire first. Thousands of energy beams and missiles streaked toward the human ships. The aliens expected to see explosions and destruction. Instead, they watched in amazement as every single shot bounced harmlessly off invisible shields. What kind of shields are those? Asked a hegemony captain. Before anyone could answer, the humans fired back. Admiral Lim Tay commanded the human flanking force. His ships moved with incredible speed and precision, surrounding groups of hegemony vessels like hunters trapping wild animals. The human weapons were unlike anything the aliens had ever seen. Blue energy beams cut through hegemony shields like they were made of paper. Missiles that could think for themselves dodged alien defenses and struck their targets with perfect accuracy. In the first minute of battle, 50 hegemony ships were destroyed or disabled. This is impossible, Groktal screamed. Our intelligence said humans were primitive. How do they have technology this advanced? On the Council space station, Ambassador Veltar and the other alien leaders watched the battle in stunned silence. The species they had dismissed as cowardly isolationists was destroying the most powerful military force in the galaxy. Who are these humans? Council leader Zafara whispered. The same species that's been ignoring our messages for 300 years, Veltar replied, his voice full of amazement. Captain Jongsu commanded a squadron of human destroyers. Her ships were smaller than the main battleships, but they moved like dancers in space. They weaved between the larger hegemony vessels, striking vital systems with surgical precision. Target their engine systems, she ordered. We want to disable them, not destroy them all. Some of them might be willing to surrender. But, Captain, said her weapons officer, they're still shooting at us. Then shoot back, Jong-Soo said calmly. But aim to disable, not kill. This was the difference between humans and the hegemony. The aliens fought with anger and hatred, trying to destroy everything in their path. Humans fought with cold intelligence, achieving their goals with minimum necessary force. Commander An-bo led the human fighter wings. His small, fast ships buzzed around the hegemony fleet like angry wasps. The alien pilots were skilled, but they had never faced fighters that could appear and disappear at will. Delta Squadron, hit their communication arrays. An-bo ordered. Echo Squadron, take out their sensor clusters. Let's make it hard for them to coordinate. The human fighters moved too fast for the hegemony weapons to track them properly. They struck their targets and vanished before the aliens could return fire. Within minutes, most of the hegemony fleet was blind, deaf, and confused. Sir, we're losing contact with most of our ships, reported Groktal's communications officer. How is this possible? Groktal demanded. We are the greatest military force in the galaxy. Maybe we were, said his tactical officer quietly. But these humans are fighting like they know everything about us while we know nothing about them. The officer was exactly right. For 3 centuries, humans had studied every aspect of hegemony military doctrine. They knew how the aliens preferred to fight, what weapons they used, and what their weaknesses were. The hegemony knew nothing about human capabilities because they had never bothered to really study Earth. Admiral Kim Dae watched the battle from his command ship. Everything was going according to plan. The humans were winning easily, but they were also being careful not to cause unnecessary destruction. Sir, the hegemony commander is requesting communication, his aide reported. Put him through, Kim Dae said. War Master Groktal's face appeared on the screen. He looked angry and confused. What do you want from us? Why are you attacking the hegemony? We're not attacking you, Kim Dae replied calmly. You attacked first. We're simply defending ourselves and our neighbors. Your neighbors? The council species are your neighbors? I thought humans never left their home system. You thought wrong about many things, Kim Dae said. We've been watching the galaxy for a long time. We know about your plans to conquer the council worlds. We can't allow that to happen. But you're just humans, Groktal protested. You're supposed to be primitive. Primitive. Kim Dae smiled. Let me show you how primitive we are. He gave a signal to his fleet. The human ships began demonstrating capabilities that the aliens didn't know were possible. Some ships became completely invisible, even when firing their weapons. Others moved so fast they seemed to teleport from one location to another. Still others projected energy shields around damaged hegemony vessels, protecting them from further harm. We could destroy your entire fleet in the next 10 minutes, Kim Dae said. But we don't want to do that. We prefer peace when possible. Peace? Groktal was confused. But you're winning. Why would you offer peace when you could have victory? Because victory without purpose is meaningless, Kim Dae replied. We don't want to rule the galaxy. We just want to make sure bullies like you can't hurt innocent people. Fleet Admiral Nam Jun opened a general communication channel that reached every ship in the system, including the council vessels. This is Fleet Admiral Nam Jun of the Human Defense Coalition, he announced. The hegemony fleet is defeated. Any vessels that wish to surrender will be treated according to galactic law. Any vessels that wish to continue fighting will be destroyed. Most of the hegemony ships immediately stopped shooting. Their crews had seen enough to know they couldn't win this battle. War Master Groktal looked around his bridge. His officers were all staring at him, waiting for his decision. His mighty fleet was broken and scattered. Half his ships were disabled or destroyed. The other half were surrounded by human vessels that could apparently do impossible things. We surrender, he said finally. The words tasted bitter in his mouth. Wise choice, Fleet Admiral Nam Jun replied. Council Leader Zafara, we need to talk. On the council station, the alien leaders were still trying to understand what had just happened. The humans they thought were too scared to leave their home planet had just saved the galaxy. Fleet Admiral Nam Jun, Zafara said when the communication channel opened. We don't know what to say. Thank you. You're welcome, Nam Jun replied. But before we continue, there are some things you need to know about humanity. We haven't been hiding from the galaxy out of fear. We've been preparing. Preparing for what? For this, Nam Jun said. For the day when the galaxy would need someone strong enough to maintain peace and smart enough to use that strength wisely. The truth was finally revealed. Earth had never been afraid of the galaxy. Earth had been getting ready to save it. The battle was not really a battle at all. It was more like a teaching lesson, with humans as the teachers and the hegemony as very surprised students. Captain Jong-Soo watched her tactical display as her destroyer squadron moved through the enemy formation. The hegemony ships were big and powerful, but they were also slow and predictable. Her smaller human vessels danced around them like children playing games with adults. "Target the command ship's weapon systems," she ordered. "Disable only. We want them alive to learn from this." Her weapons officer nodded. The human plasma beams were incredibly precise. They could cut through alien armor with surgical accuracy, hitting exactly what they needed to hit and nothing else. The hegemony battleship's main guns went silent, one by one. The alien crew inside was probably panicking, wondering how their enemies could be so accurate. "Captain, they're trying to retreat," her sensor officer reported. "Let them go," Jong-Soo said. "But keep an eye on them. If they try to circle back and attack the Council worlds, we'll stop them." Commander Anbo was having the time of his life. His fighter squadron was running circles around the hegemony pilots. The alien fighters were fast and well-armed, but their pilots had never faced enemies who could appear and disappear at will. "Ghost leader to Ghost Squadron," he said into his radio. "Remember, we're not trying to kill them all. We're trying to show them they can't win." "Copy that, Ghost leader," came the replies from his pilots. The human fighters used their stealth technology like a magic trick. They would appear behind an enemy ship, fire a few precise shots to disable its engines or weapons, then disappear before the aliens could react. Some hegemony pilots tried to ram the human fighters in desperation, but the human ships were too fast and too smart. Their computer systems could predict what the enemy pilots would do before the aliens even knew they were going to do it. "This is impossible," said one hegemony pilot over his radio. "How can they move like that?" "Their ships are more advanced than ours," replied another alien pilot. "Much more advanced." Admiral Lim Tae commanded the human flanking force from his flagship. His job was to make sure no hegemony ships could escape to cause trouble elsewhere in the galaxy. "Sir, enemy formations are breaking up," his tactical officer reported. "They're trying to scatter in all directions." "Let the small ships go," Lim Tae ordered. "Focus on the big ones. The battleships and cruisers are what we need to worry about." The human ships moved with perfect coordination. They had trained together for decades, practicing maneuvers that aliens thought were impossible. Every captain knew exactly where every other captain would be at any given moment. War Master Groktal watched his mighty fleet fall apart around him. Ships that had conquered dozens of worlds were being disabled by enemies they couldn't even see half the time. "Sir, we're receiving surrender signals from 12 of our battle groups," his communications officer reported. "Surrender?" Groktal was furious. "The hegemony does not surrender." "Sir, with respect, maybe the hegemony should learn when it's beaten," said his second-in-command quietly. Groktal turned to glare at him, but he could see the same thought in the eyes of everyone on his bridge. They were beaten and everyone knew it. Admiral Kim Dae had been waiting for this moment for 30 years. As a young officer, he had studied every battle the hegemony had ever fought. He knew their tactics better than some of their own commanders did. "Signal the fleet," he ordered. "Begin the final demonstration." What happened next would be talked about in military schools for centuries. The human fleet performed a maneuver that was so complex and so perfect that even experienced alien military officers could barely believe what they were seeing. 3,000 human ships moved as if they were one giant organism. They flowed around the hegemony fleet like water, surrounding groups of enemy ships and then moving on to the next target. Each movement was calculated to show the aliens exactly how outmatched they were. "It's like watching a dance," whispered Council Leader Zephyra as she watched from the Council station. "A deadly dance," Ambassador Veltar added. "But the humans were being careful not to be too deadly. They disabled enemy ships instead of destroying them when possible. They captured enemy pilots instead of killing them. They showed mercy even while demonstrating their overwhelming superiority. This confused the hegemony forces more than anything else. They were used to fighting enemies who hated them and wanted to destroy them completely. The humans clearly had the power to wipe out the entire hegemony fleet, but they were choosing not to do it. "Why aren't they finishing us off?" asked a hegemony captain. "I don't know," replied another. Maybe they want us alive for some reason. Supreme Commander O-Rin watched the battle from her command ship. Everything was going exactly according to the plan that Earth's military leaders had developed over many years. Phase 1 is complete, she announced to her staff. The hegemony fleet is neutralized. Begin Phase 2. Phase 2 was the most important part of the entire operation. It wasn't enough to defeat the hegemony. The humans also had to make sure the rest of the galaxy understood what had just happened. Fleet Admiral Nam Jun opened a communication channel that reached every ship, every station, and every planet in the local star systems. "This is Fleet Admiral Nam Jun of the Human Defense Coalition," he announced. "The hegemony's attempt to conquer the Council worlds has been stopped. Their fleet is defeated." He paused for a moment to let that sink in. "But this is not about revenge or conquest," he continued. "This is about peace. The Human Defense Coalition exists to protect innocent people from bullies and tyrants. Any government or organization that threatens peaceful worlds will face the same response that the hegemony faced today." War Master Groktal finally understood. The humans weren't just defending the Council. They were making a statement to the entire galaxy. "You're setting yourselves up as the galaxy's police force," he said over the communication channel. "No," Nam Jun replied. "We're offering to help maintain peace. There's a difference. Police forces make rules and enforce them. We simply stop people from hurting others." "And who decides who needs stopping?" Groktal demanded. "Usually they decide for themselves," Nam Jun said calmly. "Like you did when you brought 5,000 warships to attack peaceful worlds." Captain Nix was watching from his ship near the Council station. For the first time in his life, the big alien was speechless. The humans he had dismissed as cowards had just done something he would have thought impossible. "How did we get it so wrong?" he asked his crew. "We saw what we expected to see," replied his first officer. "We thought silence meant weakness. We were wrong." On Earth, President Kang Ye watched the battle reports with satisfaction. 3 centuries of careful planning had led to this moment. The galaxy would never be the same. "Director Li Wan," she said, "begin the next phase of the plan." "Yes, ma'am," Li Wan replied. "Our diplomatic teams are ready to begin negotiations with the Council. Our reconstruction ships are prepared to help repair the damage from this battle. And our intelligence network is ready to help prevent future conflicts." "Excellent," the President said. "It's time for Earth to take its proper place in galactic civilization." The Hegemony War, as historians would later call it, lasted only 6 hours from start to finish. But those 6 hours changed everything. The galaxy learned that the quiet humans they had ignored for 3 centuries were actually the most powerful military force in known space. More importantly, they learned that power didn't have to mean tyranny. The humans had won a complete victory, but they used that victory to protect the innocent rather than to conquer and enslave. As the last hegemony ships surrendered or fled, a new age began. The age of human leadership in galactic affairs. The age when the galaxy learned that sometimes the best leaders are the ones who prepare quietly and act only when necessary. The humans had been watching and waiting for 300 years. Now it was time for the galaxy to learn what they had been preparing for.